What's up, guys? My name is Jordan Salme, and I don't usually do this, but I think I just watched one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen, and I had to share it because I just don't know where else to go. This movie, Wake Up Dead Man, produced and written by Brian Johnson, is probably one of the most Catholic movies that has been produced in 2025. Now, I know that that's a crazy hot take because we have movies like Triumph at Heart that came out this year, but please hear me out. I am going to do my best not to spoil this movie, but my recommendation is that you save this video, go watch the movie, and then come back, because if you're anything like me, you're going to need a little bit of a debrief after watching that insane roller coaster of emotions. Here we go. In the first scene of this film, when the white collar of Father Judd came on screen, my heart immediately skipped like 3 beats. I had no idea that this was going to be a religious movie, let alone a movie centered around the scandal of Catholicism. My mind immediately followed Netflix's extremely well-renowned history of, well, we'll just say like unideal ideals for the Catholic Church, and I had absolutely no hope that my faith would be represented well. But boy oh boy was I surprised. This movie is centered around an ex-boxer who sought a renewed lifestyle and became a Catholic priest. Yet, because of the aggressive tendencies of his past, he was relocated to be an assistant priest at a small rural parish out in New England. So here's the thing about this movie. The entire thing is focused around a theme of facade and scandal. Like, even starting with the church itself. The church opens up and looks to be this beautiful Gothic cathedral from the ancient times, yet we find out not long after that it was literally built within the past like 50 years. The original founder / pastor of the church is also extremely problematic, as we find out that he literally fathered a daughter who then proceeded to mother the current pastor, Monsignor Wicks. And he is also described to have this huge fortune, big enough to build this Gothic cathedral, while also somehow having like $80 million left over to leave to this daughter. So it's really messy. And it is this information that would leave any good Catholic really uneasy in their seat at this point, that their faith was about to be extremely attacked by this movie. But here is where I want to point out its beauty. The main character, Father Judd. Father Judd is an authentic priest the whole way through. I mean, from the cinematography of the lighting, to the brutal honesty throughout the movie, to his literal, almost Padre Pio-like confession at the end of the movie, where he points out to the confessor a sin that she didn't confess, and then completely changes her life right before she dies. When Father Judd and Benoit Blanc are about to solve the entire mystery, and all they need is one little piece of information from this complete random onlooker, and she just starts dropping her story on Father Judd, asking for prayers. And you know what he does? He stops the entire investigation. He stops all of everything that he's doing to prove himself innocent, and talks to this woman, prays with this woman, and is present and ministers to her in the midst of everything. And this is just to state the obvious. I mean, it's rampant throughout this entire movie, from the cinematography of the warm lighting on Father Judd when he was being a good priest, to the dark and cold lighting on the Monsignor whenever he would come into the scene. And it's so clear that they're pointing out this clear divide between the scandalous priesthood and the pure priesthood. But regardless of what you think of this movie, and this is going to be my last point, one of the last scenes is literally a perfect demonstration of the Sacrament of Reconciliation. Like, word for word. And this is done by Netflix. Like, this Netflix. And the director, Brian Johnson, isn't even a Catholic. He's a Christian. And he doesn't even practice his Christianity anymore. But he discloses that this entire movie was healing for him, to be able to show this divide that he's felt in his heart since he was a child. And he makes it clear that his purpose in directing it was not to push the Catholic agenda or push the anti-Catholic agenda or anything, but rather to just leave it up to the audience. And this is the purpose of this video. He's leaving it up to the audience, so this is the audience, me, responding to it in the best way that I know how to, which is to say that our church is extremely broken. The Catholic Church has scandal left and right, especially in the sacrament of the priesthood. But that doesn't change our foundation. There are priests like the Monsignor rampant in the Catholic faith, and we know it. But at the same time, there are priests like Father Judd everywhere too. And we know that our church will never fail. Christ promises us in Matthew 16. Our church will never fall. The gates of hell will not prevail against it. And this is the beauty of this movie. throughout all the scandal, we will find our hope. So, thank you very much for watching this. Please go watch the movie if you haven't already. You guys are awesome. God bless.
With all the pieces on the table, this crime appears impossible.
Makes me sick. These kids painting rocket ships all over his sacred resting place.